Commander Vextal clicked his mandibles in amusement as he reviewed the intelligence reports on his holographic display. The species called humans had finally responded to the hegemony's ultimatum. Their message was brief, almost primitive. In its simplicity, "We decline your generous offer of subjugation." The Zephyrian commander's chittering laugh echoed through the bridge of the dreadnought Dominion's edge. His crew of seasoned warriors joined in the mirth. In their 3 centuries of galactic conquest, they had encountered hundreds of species. Some begged, some bargained, some fought with desperate fury before inevitably falling, but none had ever simply declined. Fascinating, Vextal mused, his 4 eyes gleaming with predatory interest. They haven't even asked for terms. No negotiation, no plea for mercy. Do they not understand what we offer them? His tactical officer, Sub-Commander Krillax, pulled up the human homeworld's data. Perhaps their primitive brains cannot process the concept of mercy, Commander. Our xenobiologists report they're remarkably similar to the Terran species we catalogued from their outer colonies. Bipedal, carbon-based, short-lived. Average lifespan of barely 80 rotations. Such brief lives, Vextal mused. No wonder they cannot appreciate the gift of servitude we offer. Very well. Prepare the cleansing protocols. We'll save the stronger specimens for labor and eliminate the rest. Standard procedure. The fleet moved into position around Earth with practiced efficiency. 50 dreadnoughts, each capable of glassing a continent. The humans had put up token resistance. Their pathetic kinetic weapons barely scratched the hegemony's shields. A few nuclear devices had been deployed, creating pretty light shows that served only to amuse the bridge crews. Vextal was dictating his victory report when the first anomaly occurred. "Commander," came a nervous voice from the sensor station. "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the human vessels." "Explain." "They appear to be intentionally destroying their own ships, sir, ramming our frigates. It's highly illogical behavior." Vextal's amusement faded slightly. Desperate. Last stands weren't uncommon, but there was something different about this. The human ships weren't retreating to defensive positions or trying to escape. They were actively seeking combat against impossible odds, each small vessel taking on ships 20 times their size. Tactical analysis of their behavior, Sub-Commander. Krillax's tendrils worked furiously over his console. "It's unprecedented, sir. They're not fighting to win. They're fighting to inflict maximum damage before death. Every single vessel. No retreats, no surrenders. They're fighting with what our combat algorithms can only classify as fury." The word hung in the air like a foreign concept. The Zephyrians understood anger. It was a useful tool for intimidation. They understood desperation and fear. But this sustained, focused rage that seemed to burn brighter as losses mounted? This was beyond their experience. Then the real surprise came. "Commander!" The communications officer's voice cracked with panic. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. Massive fleet incoming." The void around Earth suddenly blazed with the emergence of ships. Not hundreds, thousands. Vessels of designs the hegemony had never encountered, bearing the insignias of species they had never catalogued. The tactical display lit up like a constellation. "How is this possible?" Vextal demanded. "Our intelligence indicated humans had no significant allies." His answer came in the form of a transmission that cut through their encrypted channels as if they didn't exist. The image that appeared was of a grizzled human male, his face bearing scars that spoke of countless battles. "Hegemony fleet," the human said, his voice carrying a cold fury that made even Vextal's warrior blood chill. "I am Admiral Chen of the Terran Confederation. You have made a grave error." "We offer you the same terms you offered us," Chen continued. "Unconditional surrender. You have 10 minutes to comply." Vextal's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "Impossible. Our intelligence reports indicated your species had made contact with only 3 minor civilizations." Admiral Chen's scarred face split into a predatory grin that would have looked at home on any Zephyrian warrior. "Your intelligence was correct about first contact. What it failed to account for was what happened after. The tactical display updated, showing fleet compositions that made Vextal's primary heart skip a beat. Kethlari dreadnoughts, their organic hulls pulsing with bioweaponry. Crystalline Nexari ships that sang with harmonic frequencies capable of disrupting hegemony shields. The mysterious Void Walkers, whose ships seemed to bend space itself. "You see, Commander," Chen's voice cut through the chaos of Vextal's bridge. "We didn't conquer these species. We didn't subjugate them. We offered them something your hegemony has never understood." "Impossible," Vextal whispered. "Friendship," Chen said simply. "Partnership. The right to remain themselves while standing together against bullies like you." Sub-Commander Krillax was frantically updating fleet estimates. "Commander, I count over 3,000 vessels, multiple species, all defending." "Humans?" Admiral Chen leaned forward in his transmission. "Every species you've enslaved, every world you've burned, every civilization you've ground under your boot, we found their survivors, their refugees, their scattered fleets, and we offered them what you never could." "What?" Vextal demanded. "Hope." The word hit the Zephyrian commander like a physical blow. Hope was a concept their philosophers had dismissed as evolutionary weakness. The strong dominated, the weak served. It was the natural order. "This is your final warning," Chen continued. "Withdraw your fleets from human space. Return the worlds you've conquered. Free the slaves you've taken. Or face the fury of not just humanity, but every species you've wronged." Vextal's warrior pride flared. "You dare threaten the hegemony? We are the apex predators of this galaxy." Chen's smile turned arctic. "Commander, you've spent so long being the biggest fish in the pond, you forgot something important." "Benny." Transmission zoomed out, showing the massive combined fleet surrounding Earth. There's always a bigger ocean. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies for generations. The hegemony had superior technology, better shields, more powerful weapons, but they had never faced an enemy that fought not just for survival, but for each other. When Kethlari bioships were damaged, human vessels moved to shield them. When Nexari crystal singers were overwhelmed, Voidwalker ships teleported to their defense. And through it all, the humans fought with that same incomprehensible fury. Not the mindless rage of beasts, but the focused anger of those who had found something worth protecting. Vextal watched his mighty fleet crumble, ship by ship, as species after species united against the hegemony's tyranny. In his final moments, as his flagship's hull buckled under the combined assault, he finally understood what they had awakened. They hadn't just attacked a species, they had threatened a family. The humans had taken their fury, that burning, inexplicable rage that had so confused the Zephyrian commander, and forged it into something the hegemony had never encountered: righteous wrath shared among friends. As the Dominion's edge died around him, Vextal's last thought was a recognition that perhaps the apex predators of the galaxy weren't the ones with the biggest teeth, but the ones who knew how to make others bare their teeth alongside them. The humans hadn't just learned to be furious, they had learned to make fury contagious.